Hi, my name is Chelsea Dubiel, and in this video I will be demonstrating how to fry an egg. The egg that we'll be frying today comes from a chicken. The eggshell itself is mostly composed of calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is CaCO3. The main elements in calcium carbonate are calcium, oxygen, and carbon. Firstly, we must turn on the stove. When we turn on the stovetop heats up. And because heat transfer occurs from a region of high temperature to a region of low temperature, the stovetop will heat up. Then the heat transfer will occur from the pan to the egg. When the heat is absorbed to the pan as energy, it contributes to the internal energy of the pan. This internal energy includes kinetic energy. Now, temperature is simply just the average kinetic energy an object possesses. You may ask, what is kinetic energy? Well, say this tennis ball is a particle. The faster and more vigorous this particle or tennis ball moves, the greater kinetic energy it holds. Thus, the greater kinetic energy an object holds, the greater temperature it has. Now let's try cracking this egg. I wonder why it's not cracking. If you look at an egg, you can actually notice that it's just a natural example of an arch. Arches have been very important elements in structural engineering for thousands of years. Arches have a shape that is very special. The shape of the arch allows the forces applied at the arch to actually be distributed throughout the weight-bearing pillars that support the arch. And this is no different from an egg. When the forces are applied at the rounded and pointed tips of the egg, the forces are actually distributed throughout the entire egg's surface. And this is what allows the egg to withstand such great forces. Wait, I don't think I need oil. We have no need for oil while frying an egg because of Roy Plunkett and Mark Greger. Roy Plunkett accidentally created a very slippery substance called Teflon. Teflon is chemically composed of 2 carbon atoms and 4 fluorine atoms. These fluorine atoms shield the carbon atoms from reacting. In this situation, we can think about a sailor's ship. The treasure being the carbon atoms, the fluorine atoms being the sailors, and then anything that may interact with the carbon are the pirates. As sailors, the fluorine atoms keep the pirates from interacting with any of the carbon, the treasure. And in a frying pan, it keeps the food from sticking. Mark Greger was a French engineer who developed a way to bond Teflon to aluminum, and this was the first non-stick pan. Now it's time to let the egg fry. In egg whites, there is proteins called glob proteins. What that means is that there is long protein molecules that are curled and twisted up into glob-like spherical shapes. These glob-like proteins have very weak chemical bonds that keep them in this curled up ball. Now, when we heat up the egg, this agitates these glob-like proteins. And when these glob-like proteins get agitated, they begin to bounce around and collide with each other. When they begin to collide, this breaks the variety of weak bonds that keep them curled up. The egg proteins uncurl and bump into other proteins that have also uncurled. This causes all the proteins to bond together. Now, the glob-like proteins are no longer single glob proteins. They form a network of interconnected proteins. Cooking the eggs at a high temperature, many bonds form, and the egg becomes what we know as a fried egg.